Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. For this meditation today, what I want to do is I want to use the inspiration of one of the archetypes of my book, The Mosaic. And I want to allow the gardener to come to us and lead us through this meditation. So before we get started, or as we're starting, let's just close our eyes. And in closing your eyes, just notice now, without the gift of sight, what is it you choose to focus on? What does your body feel like? What do the clothes that you're wearing on your body feel like? What sounds are you hearing? What smells are you smelling? As your access route of sight is cut off now because your eyes are closed, what is it that you're seeing? Watch your mind. What's happening in your mind? What are your thoughts thinking? Watch your thoughts. And somewhere along the line of this process of slowing down, of moving your attention from outside to inside, I want you now to become aware of your breath. I want you to avoid the temptation to control your breath. It's so easy when your awareness goes there to try and control it. But instead of controlling it, I just want you to watch it. Watch your inhalation and your exhalation. As you breathe, where is your breath going to? Where is it flowing to within your body? Are you breathing into your shoulders? Into your heart? Into your gut? Into your diaphragm? And as a result of noticing where your breath is going, notice the feeling of expansion and contraction wherever you are breathing. If your air is only making it to your chest, feel your chest expanding and contracting. On the inhalation, feel your chest expanding out. the exhalation, feel it contracting down, pushing all the air out of your nose. Notice what happens the more you notice where you are in your breathing process. As you notice that it's possible to breathe down into your diaphragm, notice if your breath goes there naturally. Again, we're not forcing anything. As you're breathing, notice if your breath has a sound to it. Does it have a sensation of heat or cool as you inhale or exhale? Does the air you breathe in have a fragrance or a smell about the air you breathe out? As you breathe the air into your body, what does it feel like? Does it have a taste? And by this simple process of watching your breath, are you noticing any change in yourself? Do you think you should be breathing differently than you are? Are you feeling a deeper sense of relaxation? More focus? Are you able to stay with just the gentle inhalation and exhalation, just watching it? Is the process of your breathing being interrupted by the thinking of your thoughts? Just notice what you notice. None of it is wrong, none of it is not what it should be. And as gently as you can, as you see yourself leaving your breath and no longer watching the inhalation and exhalation, gently come back. Inhale. And exhale. No matter how many times the mind wanders, when you catch it wandering, just come back to your breath. When you feel that your energy is now moving inside of you, when you can feel a connection to your inner self, I want to invite you to meet the gardener. In my book, The Mosaic, Mo had been walking through towns and villages for some time now. And on this day, it was a long, hot day. And evening had started to settle, and he sat down to find a place where he would rest for the night. And the moment he sat down, he was overcome by the aroma that the gentle breeze of the air brought to him. And he opened his eyes and looked around. But there was nothing right around him that could have given off this scent. And very soon he realized that he was smelling an aroma from a village nearby. And he thought in that moment to get up and just go to that village right now, because the smell was so beautiful, so intoxicating. But he realized it had been a long day and he was tired. And it was dark now. And he promised himself when he woke up the next morning, if the aroma was still there, he would follow that aroma to the neighboring village to see what was the cause of this beautiful, beautiful scent. And the moment he closed his eyes, he was asleep. And when he awoke the next morning, the aroma was still there. And he was now excited with his anticipation of what he would discover. And he set out in search of the origin of the aroma. The neighboring village was very close by. Within 10 to 15 minutes, he was already there. And when he entered into the village, he saw this garden that was by far the most beautiful garden he had ever seen. And over the course of his travels, there had been many, many gardens. But this one had something exquisite that he couldn't figure out why this one was more beautiful. Every sense was on high alert. Every sense was intoxicated by smell, sound, sight. And so he sat and closed his eyes. And very shortly after he closed his eyes, he felt a presence right before him, right in front of him. And he opened his eyes, and there, standing right in front of him, 2 inches away from his face, was the face of a man. And he smiled and he asked the man, "Who are you?" And the man replied, "I know who I am. I'm the gardener. Who are you?" And Mo laughed. He had finally met the man who had created this beautiful garden. And he said, "I'm just somebody passing by. I smelt the aroma of your garden last night, and I knew I had to come and see it. But as I come here and see it, every sense was in overdrive. What have you done to make this garden so beautiful?" And the gardener said, everybody knows this simple truth, that if you put certain colors together with other colors, they make each other color look more beautiful. By placing a yellow with a purple, the purple will be even more beautiful than the purple on its own. And same for the yellow. So all it takes is knowing what colors go together to make a beautiful garden. And Mo said, there's something more. There's got to be something more. And the gardener said, okay, then you also know that if you put the smaller flowers in front of the bigger flowers, they give a depth of perception and a texture to the garden that makes the garden more beautiful than it would be if all the flowers were the same height. And Mo said, I understand that, but there's even something more. And the gardener thought for a moment, and he said to Mo, do you have a garden, Mo? And Mo said, I don't have a garden, but over the years I've gardened. And the gardener looked at him and said, Mo, when you get to that clump of weeds that you pull out in your hand, and it breaks in your hand, and you know you haven't gotten the weed out, but it just breaks at the surface, what do? And Mo said, I normally have so much going on that I just level it off so the garden looks beautiful to the eye. And I move on and I continue to weed, but the weed has not come out. And the gardener asked him, so then when you water your garden, Mo, what grows? And Mo said, the flowers and the weeds both grow. And the gardener looked at Mo, and he said, now I think I understand. Perhaps the reason why you feel this garden is so beautiful is because I'm just a gardener. I have nothing else to do but care for my garden. And so when I encounter a group of weeds, then when I pull them out, they just break in my hand. I go and get my little shovel, and I dig down until I find the source of the roots of those weeds. And I dig them out. Because if you don't do that, Mo, what happens is every time you nurture your garden, you strengthen the weeds. Once you pull out, once you uproot those weeds that have taken a hold of your garden, that make it hard for other flowers to grow, your flowers grow effortlessly. And also, once you uproot those weeds, every time you now weed, it's very easy. You pull out of your garden the weeds that are just new, but you have to keep doing it over and over and over again. But they come out as if you're pulling out a piece of hair from a glass of milk. It requires no effort to pull out a new weed. It's only when we allow it to stay there a while that it becomes harder to pull. As we meditate now, I invite you to take a look at your garden. Do you have a garden of only flowers, or is your garden a combination of flowers and weeds? Have you taken the weed eater and cut the weeds off at the surface, but allowed the roots to suffocate the flower's roots? Do you find the same things happening to you over and over and over again? Same patterns. Same story, different song. Do you feel like you've taken care of your garden and taken out the weeds, but then they keep coming back? Stronger, more determined, harder to pull out. If so, the gardener is calling out to you now. Invite him to come into your garden and spend some time with you. Let him come into your garden and take his shovel and dig out those weeds that are causing you the most discomfort. Those that make you feel upset when you see them. Those that make you defensive when people point out that they're still there. Those that make you feel not good enough for not doing the work to pull them out. The gardener will help you. Allow him to come and work your garden. Allow him to plant new flowers. Allow him to arrange the colors of your flowers so that they make each other more beautiful. But most of all, allow him to get rid of your weeds. Because what makes the garden beautiful is not only what's there, but what's not there. When your garden is free of those weeds, when you are free of the things that grow that shouldn't be there, that you no longer want there, when you pull them out at their roots, never again will they plague you. And yes, you'll have to go around your garden daily, weekly, every few days, whatever the case may be. And as you see new weeds growing, just pull them out effortlessly, easily. The beauty to having a beautiful garden is the consistency of taking care of your garden. If you've allowed your garden to fall into disarray, it's okay. The gardener is now your friend. Call him whenever you need him. As you continue watching your breath now, ask yourself, what is the source of those weeds? What is the thought? That gives the weeds soil to grow in. What are the words that you say over and over again that continue to water your weeds? What are the stories that you've created to make you feel that the weeds are okay? And what is the life you are living as a result of those thoughts and words and stories? Make an appointment with the gardener to come every week to do whatever needs to be done to go behind all the noise, all the feelings of not being good enough to be able to do it, and in a very short time, the gardener promises you he will rid your garden of weeds. Make the commitment once your garden is free of weeds to walk your garden and enjoy it. And as new weeds start to grow, effortlessly pull them out. Feel how good it feels.